What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conversation Station. This episode, I'm going to be talking about a content creator. I'm going to be doing highlight episodes. I did one for Bo Burnham. I'll be doing comedians, artists, content creators, pretty much anybody I find interesting. This episode is going to be about Shane Stouffer, known as TOGI on YouTube and other social media platforms. He's had a pretty incredible year, all spearheading into his most recent videos about 3 weeks ago. And it was a four-part series that was just absolutely insane. If you get the chance to watch it, I would definitely recommend go checking it out. As I said, he's been on a crazy run this year. He was a frat guy who dropped out to pursue his dreams of social media and fitness influencing. He was very honest about his gear usage and things like that, and as well as his drug usage and gambling. He's gotten very, very rich and had a lucrative end of gambling, and he's very open and honest about that. And it's just kind of cool watching him, spend money that obviously a big majority of us wouldn't dare to play with at places like gambling. But that's mainly what drew me to his content creation. I think the first video I saw of him was a clip from the Roid Rage and Casino episode, and I believe it was just a super quick clip on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. And it might have been somewhere else. It might have been on YouTube. But as soon as I seen that clip, I had to check it out. And ever since then, I've just been following the whole process, and it's absolutely insane. I mean, his videos are just really crazy. They follow his journey really well, and I think he documents everything. I don't think he does, himself any favors. I don't think he's trying to really put himself in any specific light. I think he's just trying to show you who he is, and I think that's part of why I like watching it. A big part of his message throughout this whole thing is like, just do whatever you want. I'm doing whatever I want. And I think that's just a cool message, just to try things, go out and try. And like, he's just doing really cool stuff, and he gets to go to the Young LA shows and stuff like that, and he has a lot of fun with it, and he's just a really cool personality. And honestly, I see him getting way bigger, like not just in YouTube but in social media all around, if not heading over to TV and stuff like that at some point, if that ever interests him. But if he just continues on this cycle, honestly, I don't see any point where he will slow down. I think he's just going to continue to build on the momentum that he has. But if you just watch it, it really is like watching a rocket. It's really cool. But he's had some downs, like some down back draws as well. He had a issue with the drugs and almost overdosing, and I believe he almost died. He almost died. So that was obviously a scare for him, and he gets pretty emotional in the video after that, talking about it, and trying to be better, I guess, and as anybody would in an experience like that. But as I said, he's really honest and upfront about the entirety of his struggles in life and the honesty, and he shows the hate that he gets from the YouTube comments and stuff like that, and just says like, it's part of the territory. But it's just interesting, it's, I've never seen anybody live their life quite like the way he is. We got to imagine there's probably plenty of more, and that's why he has so many fans and so many people relate to most of the things that he's doing. I personally don't. I don't take any steroids. I don't do the drugs that he does, but I don't know, that kind of lifestyle, and his, crazy energy is just, to me, always going to be like hilarious. I just think it's awesome. And like I said, the fact that he's doing whatever he wants, I don't judge him. It's his life. He's living it. That's not my life to, say, oh, I wouldn't do that or this. Like, it's just awesome to see somebody take it to another level. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. I hope he stays safe out there. As you can see, he's clearly, taking it to a limit that was pretty crazy. But like I said, that's just kind of the life he's living. And hopefully, as in this, these most recent videos, especially these last four, he really seems to be, coming to terms with the fact that he's really like made a lot of progress just in the past year. And it was really cool to see, and I think for me as a fan, is really cool to see, and I think his fans in the comments, you can see they're really proud and happy for him. And he's very acknowledgeable about what it's took to get here, and how it is been a crazy process, and there is moments where he just kind of trips out and is like, holy crap, I can't believe this has all happened. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to come back, is because at the end of the day, yeah, he's a big YouTuber, but he's still a regular person, and he's still, you can go back to those original videos where he didn't have this kind of money, and it's just kind of interesting to see the build and the climb, and it's really cool. In the last video, he gave a lady who was selling flowers like $12,000. And that to me was like so awesome. He was going around just giving out money to people because he felt like he was so blessed that, you know, he should be doing that. And I think that was just, you know, I know that's obviously, you know, content. It's a little bit for the content, but a lot of it is just like, you know, you got to know that he truly felt that way. I mean, that's part of that reality. He's still a real person who feels like he's got to do something. And I felt, you know, I think all of us, any of us that work a regular day job, believe that if we got the kind of money that he has, that we would do that. We would go out and just hand, you know, 10 grand to somebody, a random person that we think needed it. And the fact that he's out there really doing what, like I said, someone in my position that just works a regular day job who doesn't make that amount of money, I believe I would do something like that if I had that kind of money. But, you know, to see somebody actually doing it is nice on that level. So, and I think, like I said, his reaction to it, and if you watch the video, you can see how genuine it is and how honestly kind of uncomfortable he is, because it's just like a weird situation. He doesn't know how to go about it. He's just trying to do something nice. But honestly, everybody, even the people accepting the money, kind of feel like it's a scam. Everybody feels like they're getting played because of the camera and YouTube and stuff. And nobody wants to get pranked on that level and feel like dumb. But so he's trying to like not, you know, scare anybody off. But you could tell he really wants to just give back, and, you know, he takes it seriously. And I think that was really cool that he added that in there, because, you know, he didn't necessarily have to. He could have just went and gone, you know, did that on his own, but he added it in there. Like I said, so part of it's for the content, but I still think it was really awesome. But yeah, his journey and his, you know, emotion, the amount of stuff he gets to do, and, you know, the places the rooms he ends up being in is pretty cool. And I think, like I said, that ride is going to continue, and I think, you know, the videos are only going to get cooler and crazier as we go along. He's definitely someone that's worth watching now, because, you know, you're going to want to get in as soon as you can and see as much as you can possibly see. He's somebody who, like I said, I'm sure he's going to be much more prominent in the future, and he's just going to be a little bit more into everything, and I think the videos are just going to get better. That being said, Togi, if you're ever interested in doing an interview on the show, I haven't done any interviews yet, but I would be more than happy to talk to you about content creation and just your journey so far. But yeah, I really appreciate any time you spent watching the video, and thank you, and I hope to see you again.